Hello and welcome back to another episode of Money with Min. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Coinbase. And this video is aimed for those who are pretty new to crypto because I'm new to it myself. So by the end of this video, you should understand what Coinbase is, what went down during the IPO this past week, and thirdly, my perspective on how I'm putting Coinbase and crypto into my personal portfolio. So let's jump right into it. So what is Coinbase? In the simplest explanation, Coinbase is an application where you can buy and sell cryptocurrency, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. But beyond that, it's much, much more. And whether you're new to crypto or in it for a few years, Coinbase is one of the largest and most recognizable names in the entire crypto economy. And Coinbase allows myself and millions of other users to buy and sell crypto at relative ease compared to other platforms. And if you're interested in checking out Coinbase for yourself, check out my referral link down below. I'm not even sure if I get anything, but at least you get $10 in Bitcoin just for signing up. And with another crypto boom happening as we speak, there's a lot of people going into this pretty uneducated. And one of Coinbase's missions is to make sure it's not only simple, but there's a lot of trust and safety and security behind everything you're doing on the platform. Currently, Coinbase holds over 11% of the world's crypto economy, with zero incidents of hacking or breaching people's accounts. And since crypto is a scary thing for a lot of people, making sure their accounts and their money and their funds is secure is a hugely important part of the platform. And within the world of cryptocurrency, there are tons of crappy coins out there, new ones being built every day actually. But currently Coinbase only supports 90 different cryptocurrencies, which they curate and select with due diligence to protect their customers from investing into the wrong crypto. And maybe you've seen the rise of Dogecoin in the last few months, but here's the interesting thing. Doge is not on Coinbase, and we'll save that story for another day. And personally for me, Coinbase made investing in crypto easier and simpler than any other platform I've seen in my life. And for the first time, I'm starting to invest a lot more into crypto as we speak. One of my financial goals this year is to actually get 3 to 5% of my portfolio sitting in crypto. So my investment into Coinbase, Bitcoin, and Ethereum is part of that plan. So who is behind Coinbase? Remember that Coinbase is a crypto-first platform built as a tech company starting in 2012. And when I do research on investing in companies, I often look to the CEO and the founders to see who's the person behind the machine. And I draw from inspiration like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and the list goes on and on. So the CEO and founder of Coinbase is Brian Armstrong. So if you look him up, he's currently 38 years old. He used to be an engineer in the early days of Airbnb. But when he was at Airbnb, what he saw firsthand was the amount of effort and intricacies of transferring money all over the world for transactions in over 100 countries. And at the same time is when he got into Bitcoin for the first time, and he saw that this was a path to unlock the freedom of transferring currencies all over the world in a digital space. And thus Coinbase was born through the Y Combinator in Silicon Valley. And when you have a founder who has a recipe of being the engineer who can walk the walk, the salesman who can talk the talk, and the visionary who can see where the company's going to be going, you're damn right that I'm going to be listening. And here's some footage of Brian talking about Bitcoin and Coinbase back in 2018.
In December of 2010, I happened to read the Bitcoin white paper, which was written by this mysterious person who nobody knows, Satoshi Nakamoto. And it immediately...
Is he a real person?
I have no idea who he, she, or they are, unfortunately. But it definitely captured my imagination when I read it because it talked about how the whole world could have this universal currency that ran on the internet. And I felt like it just kind of grabbed me, and I felt like this is the most important thing I've read in like 5 years. So I started going around to different meetups in San Francisco. Like they had these very early Bitcoin meetups. And you might laugh at this, but I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm too late to the game because there was already like Bitcoin exchanges that were there. And this was like the 2011 timeframe. And I'd go to these meetups and like the room was half kind of brilliant computer scientist people and half just completely crazy people.
So kind of like online dating.
Probably, yes. So in that environment, I kind of started to tinker with a prototype on nights and weekends, which eventually would become Coinbase. And so that was a little bit of the origin story.
So as I briefly mentioned at the beginning of this video, I was doing some of this research in preparation for the Coinbase IPO that happened just this past week. And I'll be honest with you, I've had an interesting history with IPOs, some hits, some misses, but I was extra excited for this one for some reason. So with the current crypto rush on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and even Dogecoin for that matter, there's a lot of excitement going into this space. And a lot of the excitement in the crypto rush of 2020 and 2021 reminds me a bit of what happened in 2017, where I sat on the sidelines watching from the outside. And in the investing world, there's this classic example of the California gold rush that happened in the mid 1800s. And within the California gold rush, it actually wasn't a lot of people who were chasing after the gold itself that was making the money, but rather it was the people selling the picks and shovels that gave people access to dig for gold. And when you stretch that analogy to the modern day, those picks and shovels are actually the platforms, the applications, and the technology that enable people to get that gold. And in this case, the gold rush is crypto. And for me, I'm already invested into Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I also wanted to start investing into Coinbase itself to sort of spread my exposure into the crypto market as a whole. So let's quickly cover the financials of Coinbase, a little bit of the research I was doing leading up to the IPO. And remember, when you're investing in companies, do your own due diligence, do your own research, analyze the numbers, and definitely form your own opinion. And since I know most of my viewers are relatively new to investing, much less looking at financials of a company, I'll try to keep this simple. And while there are a lot of metrics and numbers behind a company, there are at least two main metrics that you should be focusing on. One is revenue growth, and two is user growth. So let's look at some of the numbers. So in the first quarter of 2021, Coinbase generated a revenue number of $1.8 billion. And now that's all fine and dandy, but here's the comparison that just blew my mind. Compare that $1.8 billion to 1 year ago in Q1 2020. And in the same quarter a year ago, Coinbase generated $190 million. So this is a 10x increase in revenue in just 1 year alone. And to be clear, a lot of this growth was due to the growth of the Bitcoin value itself over the last year. But this doesn't take away from the fact that Coinbase is a huge player in this space with real money to back this up. And in most recent numbers, Coinbase has publicized that it has reached 43 million active users on the platform as of Q4 2020, which is up almost double since Q1 of 2018. And as the shroud of mystery unveils itself from cryptocurrency, more and more people are going to start investing in crypto. And my bet is that Coinbase will likely be part of that first step. Now let's quickly talk about my experience with the IPO directly. Like I mentioned, this was an IPO that I was pretty excited for, so I might have jumped the gun a little bit. And on the days leading up to direct listing, the general consensus was that the minimum price per share that was targeted was about $250 per share of Coinbase. But based upon some private sales behind the scenes, they saw prices of up to $375. So with that range and movement, I was pretty excited to get in because I saw a lot of potential upside. But again, I'll admit I got a little too excited. And since I knew I'd have a busy day during the listing, I set up some limit orders to try to catch some of the action. So I set my first limit order at $275, which I knew probably wouldn't hit, but then another one at $325, another one at $375. So when my first order filled at about $381, I got really excited because the stock kept going up after that point. I bought in some more at about $399, and while the price kept going up past $400 in the early morning, it started losing steam around $420 to $430 and started nosediving back down. But overall, Coinbase is a company I still believe in. I see its value long term, and I did buy some more shares on the way down. So as we wrap up this video about Coinbase, I hope you each learned something new today. And as a personal finance and investing channel, I urge each and every one of you, despite how scary cryptocurrency might be or how confusing it might be, to learn the basics because I think it's an important part of financial education. And if you're brand new to crypto, drop me some questions down below. I'd love to research them for you, and I'll let you know on a future video on what I find. And if you want to invest in Coinbase or any other stocks for that matter, check out my Webull referral link down below and you can get up to 4 free stocks. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button. And if you want to see more weekly videos on how to get wiser with your money, definitely consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.